Intersectionality. What is it?
Well, unless I am mistaken, it is a label assigned to somebody as a way of measuring pigeonholing that person based on trivial factors like race, sexuality, gender, and whatever other nonsense labels that person chooses to assign to themselves.
We're all layered. Race, class, gender identities intersect, empowering or disempowering us in different situations.
So for that, you had race, gender, class, ethnicity, nationality, ability, immigration status, and religion. All of these are supposedly labels that work with intersectionality. Now, the whole point of intersectionality, as I keep being told it is to assign resources to the most oppressed group of those within the banner of intersectionality. So if one group is suddenly more privileged after receiving all these benefits from the resources granted by other groups, then those resources are taken away and then directed towards another group that are oppressed. It's all rather stupid, really, because intersectionality has never been proven to work. At best, what we see is other people brought down to the level of the person who is, quotes, oppressed. You don't see anyone trying to actively elevate that person to, elevating that group to the level of everyone else.
Right?
Oscar here is a good leader. Nice to his mom and wants to help people.
Oh my God, stop drawing so much attention to yourself. I hate it when you go super Latino. You are so embarrassing.
Stop it, we're at school.
You're so sensitive too. Ugh.
No.
But most people don't see that Oscar could use some help.
When you say he could use help, you are quite right. He needs help getting a better friend who doesn't devolve the discussion down to the most basic and primitive form of discussion, i.e. race. So it might be an idea to take him to a bar, or to a club, or to a strip club, or to Vegas, or somewhere where he has a chance of making friends depending on his hobbies, I guess, and interests. Let's ignore the fact that he's a puppet. That said, I am very much more interested in the yellow one, because I really want to know why he felt the need to say, "Oh, you're being such a Latino," and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that thought that.
Hey, is this still going on? It seems pretty abusive. Maybe it's time to ask for help.
As much as I would like to spend the next however many minutes I can drag this on for, arguing about whether or not the female puppet is an ally or not, or just a concerned citizen who is then being pigeonholed as an ally, let's focus on the fact that an ally even exists. To be an ally of something in the context of intersectionality, you are seen as a supporter but not somebody at the front. Essentially, you're just a pawn, another number, a voice. How does one be an ally to somebody who has no self-worth or confidence, though, without seeming like they are simply dominating that person?
As a woman, Norma's been educated about relationship abuse.
I'm sorry, what?
As a woman, Norma's been educated about relationship abuse.
Yes, I heard that. But surely you are aware the person narrating this, unless you're doing this solely for a payday, that those educated on abuse are typically men as the perpetrators, which you're playing into quite well with this anyway, being a male victim of male-on-male domestic abuse, which is one of the most uncommon of all the domestic violence statistics. And surely, based on how we are raised as a society in current year, everyone is educated on domestic abuse. By the way, if those two earlier were a couple, you probably want to leave that relationship since that person was quite happy to be racist to you anyway.
She recognizes Oscar's problem.
Oh, looking good. How about a smile?
Hey, leave her alone. That's not okay.
You what? Two things. Firstly, there is nothing wrong with simply saying, no matter how creepy it sounded, give us a smile. She can simply say in return, no, if she doesn't want to. Second, where did you find your testicles? They seem to be remarkably vacant when your partner was being racist towards you. I know these are just puppets, but the wider message is quite disingenuous.
Norma's got less power in this situation because woman.
Ah, yes. But surely she has more power than him because he is a Latina male. Surely by the definitions of current year society, he is more marginalized than she is. For example, surely you'd want to kick out all those Latino people because they took her jobs and then we build a wall to keep them all out, because that will totally work.
And Oscar's got more because guy.
Well, of course, a gay Latino male has more power than woman. We don't have any more information on her yet, so we can't assign her the correct tier in oppression.
Hi. I need to talk to someone about abuse in a relationship.
Oh, who's in the abusive relationship?
It's...
Your sister?
Oh, no.
Your female best friend? Another lady person?
It's me.
Now this is a more interesting part of the video, as it references the fact that men are typically seen as the perpetrators. It wasn't that long ago I remember seeing many helpline descriptions for victims of domestic abuse. The majority of them perpetrated men as the abuser, and then to call if they were being abusive. Thank you, Australia, for giving us that, by the way.
You're abusing your girlfriend?
No, it's my boyfriend. He's abusing me. I'm gay.
Oh, oops. It's just you look so machismo and all.
Okay, so two things. Firstly, with no chin, body mass, and basically because it's a puppet, I can't tell if he's actually machismo at all with such a delicate voice. Second, how on earth does intersectionality play into this based on the fact that somebody's made an assumption based on appearance, which is, let's face it, one of the leading things that intersectional feminists use. No offense to intersectional feminists here, but you do pretty much profile people in a way to ascertain just how truly oppressed someone is.
Hey, you're here to help, and you just made a lot of assumptions about this guy. What's that about?
As fantastic as it is that another puppet white knighted in this video, I think before you explain what that puppet is, it would be wise to point out now that this is pretty much how society still operates, on assumption. Now, some is based in fact, of course. When we look at domestic violence statistics, yes. Then again, you've taken the least common demographic for domestic violence victims and put them at the front, because there's no way you could do this video adequately with a straight male as the victim.
Sam is gender fluid. Sam uses their own experience with people making assumptions to speak up for Oscar.
Oh, there are so many jokes in my head about gender fluid, but all I really want to do is play that really retarded clip where Sean Head says, "But if enough people feel it," because that just tickles me. To me, in short, gender fluid is nothing more than a glorified expression of a mood ring, which would probably be cheaper and easier, to be honest. Also, how does someone that is gender fluid truly understand someone who is a gay Latino male? They can only understand the gender part, not the sexuality element or the racial element. So clearly you don't have, or a gender fluid person is not an expert, or can relate sufficiently in this case.
Oh, Oscar, what are you doing here?
I just figured my perspective would be useful here, so I signed up to volunteer.
Sometimes we're more aware of the ways we don't have power and privilege than the ways we do. But intersectionality helps us access our power.
To have a truly intersectional counseling group at the reception desk, you would need a group of peoples or a singular person that could represent every single group in society. All of either that, or you're going to need to get that person a Mighty Morphin intersectional Power Ranger costume. Might I make a suggestion with regards to some of the statements you just saw on the screen? Our layered identities can make us vulnerable to violence and oppression. Perhaps educate the person about the identity, or get rid of the superficial, pointless ones that are, quite frankly, as earlier stated near the beginning of this video, utterly trivial. Things like race, sexuality, and gender no one cares about. And the final bit, and sometimes those same identities can also empower us. Yes, but that's also another term for bloody-minded. Especially when someone refuses to see reason when they think their gender is actually real. If that's true, then my gender of lightsaber is very, very real. Now, as I'm done with that video, I have a couple small announcements. Firstly, Prime Minister's Questions was on yesterday, so tonight at 10 or 9:30 PM GMT, I will be doing a response to certain parts of it that stood out. The theme of it will be about the Windrush scandal. If you don't know what that is, by all means tune into it and I will explain in detail. I will leave a link to that in the description. In theory, joining me for this will be 8-bit Thought, not Thought. Although maybe he is. He does cycle a lot, so I'm sure he has dynamite legs. All that aside, I hope you all have a lovely day, and thank you all for listening.
Yeah, maybe. Have you ever had friends with benefits? If so, how did it work for you? Can you separate the physical side from the emotion? Edmund's cycles 1 dirty talk for me is tweaking the nipples on my bicycle wheels. Okay. We just need Omegon in here and she'll get dirty. To be honest, I mean, I'm not saying he wouldn't make me moist or anything.